everyone, today we're going to do a tour of my lesson plan for Blooket, Create, and Play. We're just going to do a quick overview of what the lesson entails and show you some of the examples. So we are focusing on the program called Blooket, and what I'm having students do is first play a Blooket, and then they are going to research an artist themselves, and then they are going to create their own deck to play with the class. So the whole point of this lesson is to both review as well as learn how to use Blooket itself. So the audience for this is going to be my 4th grade art class, and they are going to need their laptop device, access to the internet, Blooket itself, as well as Google Docs. Some of my objectives are they are going to create content for the class, they're going to integrate technology, they are going to create questions, they're going to do research, and they are going to learn some facts that they might not already know about these artists. And then in the end, we are going to play some games on Blooket together, which are really fun, and I think they'll love those. So for my rubric, they are going to be looked at, their questions are going to be looked at, and they have to each create 5, so pairs of students are going to be combined. So there's going to be 10 groups of 2 students, and each student is going to create 5 questions and 5 answers. They're going to research it and find those answers. Their accuracy of their answers is really important. Obviously, we don't want anything wrong in our Blooket, because then to check for learning and it's wrong, that wouldn't work well. So also we are introducing, I am introducing all the students to Blooket, so I want them to understand how to use Blooket as well as create their own deck. And of course I'll be circulating, monitoring, making sure that all students know what they're working on, and if they need help with anything, they're more than welcome to ask, of course. So the whole process is we are first going to play a Blooket, then we are going to create Blooket accounts. So I will need parent permission for this just to make sure that they're allowed to do it. So I'm actually going to give that part for homework. Then students will be paired off into groups, 2 students per group. There's about 20 students in the class, and there'll be about 10 groups. Then they will each group is going to get a doc, a Google Doc that I've created. It has the artist name at the top, as well as the place where they can put their questions and answers. And I do put a reference site on there just in case they're not really sure where to start on how to find information about that specific artist. Once they are done with their doc, they will come up with 5, in the doc, they'll come up with 5 questions each. And then once they are finished with that, they will put their questions into their Blooket, and we'll go over how to use Blooket in class, and then they will get to work together to create that Blooket. Then they will play Blooket as groups, so like as the whole class. So each group will present their Blooket, and then we'll play the game, which will be a fun, really, art class, and if we have to, we'll do it over 2 art classes. And then I have just a sample of what their document is going to be, that they're going to put their information about the artist. So it'll have the artist name, it'll have their website. If you click on this, it goes to Matthew's actual website, and all of the information about him is on here. And for instance, one of the questions might be, how many bees does Matthew want to create a hand paint? And then if you read through the summary, it does say that he would like to create 50,000 hand-painted bees on one of the pages of the website. So they can find the information, create the questions. I'm not going to tell them which questions to create. I think it's a great opportunity for them to go ahead and create whatever questions they would like and find interesting. And then to overview Bloom Taxonomy, remembering does start in the very beginning of the assignment when we first play the game. Then understanding is understanding their Blooket. I was looking more on the technology side, like learning how to use Blooket. Applying would be creating their own Blooket deck. Analyzing is deciphering all the information about whichever artist they have been given. Evaluating is the rubric of student learning, so all the stuff I'm evaluating them on. And then creating is creating their own Blooket and playing it with their class. So like starting from these questions, going all the way up to the creation. For TPAC, the content is all the information about the artists, then developing like the questions, and then putting it into that Google Doc, working together. And then, of course, sharing that amongst each other. The pedagogy, there's a bunch here. So there's researching skills, there's critical thinking, there is recalling prior knowledge / reviewing. So like they're really focusing on what they've learned. They are pair sharing, so they're working together in groups, so collaboration, super important. And then for the technology, of course, they're using Google Docs, but in a way where they are almost running their own Google Docs. So I'm not being like, okay, everyone write something. They are like pair sharing it, so they are working on it together. And then they are putting all that information that they've discovered into their Blooket. For SAMR, substitution is normally when we do review, we actually do it with like paper and the old-fashioned way where we talk about an artist and they go back to what we've learned, and then I show them, strictly like, okay, here's like a picture of this artist with posters and stuff. So this is really cool that we are using now technology to do this, and we are doing it on Blooket, which is a really fun app. Augmentation is definitely during the research point of our assignment. So they're researching and using Google Drive to share their doc and all their information with each other. Modification is the Blooket development itself. So once they've researched it, they're transitioning it into the technology on Blooket. And then redefinition it's a bit of I felt a combination between modification and redefinition, because yes, they have seen a Blooket already, but now they are creating their own. So they're starting with like this, just a name, and then they're taking it all the way up to the creation of their own deck so they could play games with everyone in their class. So that's just a little overview of my lesson plan. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that the students really love it. Thanks.